Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honoured today to be asked by Amanda to be the MC here, because I think this is something very, very special. Could I begin by recognising Trevor? Trevor, thank you very much for your vision and what you have done in respect to this, because this is permanent recognition of the tremendous work that ladies do in our lives. And I think that for a long, long time, that hasn't necessarily been the case. But when ladies can come to a grouping like this, together, work together, it's not only what they produce, it's the fact that they're together and they're talking, and that's a great thing. There's lots and lots of men shed, but it's so good to see the vision here of Trevor and the people of Pittsworth, and particularly his family. Can I recognise the Saal family for their contribution generally in many, many ways to this area? And of course today, there are many direct relatives of Trevor's wife Pearl here, and Pearl made a great contribution to society as well. So Trevor, this is an amazing gesture on your part, and it is in fact permanent recognition of the contribution that ladies make in our lives. Trevor and Pearl were married way back in 1950, and of course when Pearl passed on the 11th of the 1st, 22, they've been together for 79 years and 6 months. So how's that, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. But by doing what you've done, Trevor, you're sending a beautiful message. It's a message that is good, and that women deserve this sort of thing. I can't help but reflect on the contribution that the family, the Saal family, have made. I've read the data about your dad, Sydney, and the contribution he made in the First World War. But all of you, the service to this district, Trevor, of course, you've been in Gundawindi, Claremont, and those places, you and Pearl, and now you've returned to your real home. Which is Pittsworth. The Saal family's contribution, broadly speaking, is enormous. And I can't be here today without mentioning Viv Saal and his wife Wynne, and it's lovely to see his daughter here today, Vicky. It's just so good. But Viv Saal was an inspiration to me. When I first got on the Mayoral Council, Viv was the man. I have never seen a person who did so much for a community on so little pay. And I saw him driving backwards and forwards to his property on a regular basis, just doing what he did for that community. So Viv and Wynne, their contribution to Mayoral, I guess, are quite parallel to what we have here today. I think you find that Viv, of course, was a pilot in the Second World War, the Pacific War. I think he might well have been in Japan when things were, where it would happen, when things were handed over in north of us here. I had the good fortune of good parenting, and I think some of the things that my dad said to me, you know, he came from an era that the Saal men come from, where you would raise your hat, you would open the car doors, you would open gates and all those sort of things. And when I was about 17, he took me aside one day, and I think he was a bit worried that I'd been what you'd call overloved, and some people would call it spoiled by another. And he wanted to explain to me the contribution that women make in the world. The first thing he said to me is, don't ever think that men and women are equal. They bring so much to this world, and look what they bring to the world. Have a think about that. And the beautiful thing that he said was the second thing. He said, a proper male-female relationship is the most beautiful, complementary thing you can ever be involved in. And I think that's what we've seen. Trevor, to you and Paul, that was the story. And I think what you're wearing here today, remembering your beautiful wife, is something very, very special. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not the only person to speak today. I'd like to call on Wayne, who has made a major contribution, to just say a few words. Wayne.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, I'll back those words up. In that, my contribution is probably made in memory of my mum. If she was here, she'd be in the women's shed on the floor. She'd be.
Put your mic up, mate.
Mum would be in here in the women's shed too if she was here. So probably outside of the family, you know, Dad and Trevor brothers. So we had to do our bit to step up. I'd like to thank Russell. If Russell hadn't come on board early in the piece, I'd guide me through the building process, and it would have been a shambles, I'm pretty sure. So I thank Russell for his contribution. The other one I really want to thank is Harley. Harley's a bit scared of heights, and I won't say we've killed him, but we got him up on an 8-foot trestle on top of a plant, so that's pretty good for Harley. And Harley probably contributed the most hours just about to the building project, you know. Russell and I had to duck off for a couple of things at different times. Most of the time Harley was pulling in for one or the other of us. Tom, we kept him at home trying to catch up at home, but that was a losing battle with the wet weather and everything else, so whenever he had some spare time we dragged him in here. From the actual starting to erect it, it's taken us 15 days to get it to this point. So but there was a lot of time lag prior to that, and you know, I'm sure Amanda's going to talk about all the people that helped us through the way, but there's numerous local businesses that have helped in some ways. Yes, they're getting paid for it, and that's some have contributed in kind and everything else, so we're all grateful for that. You know, it's taken a while, 2 years, 2 or 3 months or whatever from Trevor's vision to get it to this stage. There's been a few obstacles and a lot of sorting out at different times, and a lot of discussion and Matt, wherever Matt's hiding. Matt over here, R&F Sheds, him and Jason, they've been a pair of work to us. Jason helped guide us through some of the council and town planning issues that would come up against at different times. And Matt, we'll bring him up and say, what do we do here, or we're missing something here, or, you know, he's only been too willing to help keep us, you know, we never really waited for anything, so once we really got going, we were able to keep carrying on. Like the first day we started with Russell thought we might have spent the day just sorting everything out, laying things out and working out how we're going to do it. By the end of that day, we had the basic framework all stood up. There was one phone call to Danny Pearce, and he said he was out to beer and heading further away, but Blake was closer by, and he said, I'll see what Blake's doing later on. Blake turned up, and boom, 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 we had to frame up before we knocked off that afternoon, the first day. And then it just slowly kept on going after that. There was another little incident just the other day, Monday morning. Russell rang up Craig Panclay because they knew they had to do the rink out the back from when they did the slab, and Craig said, oh, I'll be there in 2 minutes. It was less than 5, he drove in, and by lunchtime they had it boxed up ready to pour the next morning, but it rained so they poured it the next morning. You know, you can't complain about the service that we got from the business houses folks. He had his team here on a Saturday, all day on a Saturday, running wires and everything else, and they just kept going and going and going until they got it all done. Can't fault that. Jonathan Lee with Lovely Earthworks, he was here Wednesday. We put the stormwater in, we laid all that, and he said, oh, I'll slip home and have a sandwich. And while he was away, we had sort of 30 mils of rain. And he came back and it was just a quagmire. And he said, I'll be back on Friday to tidy it up. And, you know, it's a credit to the businesses that are able to step up and do their bit. So I don't think I need to say much more. Trevor, it was a big effort on your behalf to donate this to the community, to the women's shed in particular. It's a building that's here forever now. I don't think they're going to ship this low concrete. And the women's shed, I hope you enjoyed it. It is what it is. My scope of work is finished. And I hope you guys to benefit from the facility. Thank you.
And you can feel the passion coming out of the community in the Saal family for this community, and it's a multi-generational thing. And I'd like to now call on Amanda to come forward and say a few words.
Thank you, Paul, for coming and being our official body today. And thank you, Wayne, for all your kind words, and yes, we do. We think of your mum as well, because they're all very important parts of our life. Okay, we gathered here today because of Mum, Evelyn Pearl Saal. She was born in Pittsworth on the 14th of the 11th, 1929. Dad and Mum met at a New Year's Eve dance at Yarra in 1946. And were married in Pittsworth on the 4th of June 1950. Leading up to and on their wedding day, rain continued to fall. Goes without saying, rain on your wedding day is good luck because it signifies that your marriage will last. It is thought to bring resilience to the marriage and symbolise the couple's ability to weather life's storms together. How very true in this case. Due to the rain, the bride and her bridesmaids used sugar and water to set their hair, with hessian bags being laid on the ground so they could get into the church with as little mud as possible on their full-length white dresses. Raising 8 children was no easy feat. However, Mum was not one to shy away from any challenge. She did without and made do to provide for her family, which she was so proud of. Mum ran her house, which was once described by a very close family friend as with military precision. She had certain days of the week for doing the laundry, housework and baking, with any spare time taken up with the garden, sewing and meal preparation. Mum would often quote, "Idle hands are the devil's workshop." I think we all thrived on routine. We all respected and appreciated what our parents did for us. As kids, we were always busy. We often helped in the vast veggie garden. We learnt to weed, plant, cultivate, pick, shell, cut up, blanch and freeze just about anything the garden produced. The deep freeze would always be relied on for a very hearty supply of homegrown vegetables all year round. There was also the grapevine. Grapes were eaten fresh from the vines or made into jam. It wasn't our favourite memory, sieving the seeds out of the jam. There was always a stash of homemade chutneys and pickles in the pantry. Figs and mulberries were also made into jam, with the plums, peaches, apricots and nectarines either going into jams, preserves or stewed fruit. It would be of surprise if you looked in Dad's freezer at the moment that there isn't some containers of stewed fruit that he has cooked up and frozen for his desserts. Old habits are very hard to beat. We all started our day with a cooked breakfast, which Mum prepared while Dad was likely milking the house cow. Milk for the house and cream for making butter. With no dishwasher, it was the job of us kids to wash the dishes, dry the dishes and put the dishes away. If anyone slackened off and it was a school day, guess what? You ran to the bus and we had quite a long driveway. There's somebody sitting here that Lee and I can distinctly remember because she was much younger than us. We were running to the bus, carrying her goods and chattels, and she stopped. She put her hands on her hips and she said, "I'm not running, tell him he can wait." Afternoon teas were always something to look forward to, as Mum often would spend an entire day baking, whether it be quadruple-sized batches of the family favourite biscuits, numerous cakes and slices, thus ensuring a plentiful supply of homemade delicacies. Excess always went into the freezer. Mum was renowned for her smokers, and many of the stock agents would always turn up right on smoker time. Mum always made an effort to make your choice of birthday cake. Good, wholesome, healthy food and plenty of exercise set up our metabolism for life. I feel that I'm speaking for most of us kids here. We ate what was put in front of us. We weren't going not to. However, at times it was a struggle. The dreaded choco vine that flourished over the old outside dunning, producing magnificent specimens in plentiful supply that even the best of white sauces couldn't make tasty and enjoyable. Them and the dreaded broad beans. Apart from the fruit and veggies that were provided for the family, there was the poultry enterprise. There was the roosters and the ducks. When the numbers were adequate and their condition well covered, Saturday afternoons were set aside for the kill. We all knew how to pluck and clean poultry. Roast duck and or chicken was often on the menu for Sunday lunch, and the excess went to the freezer. Mum wasn't one to drink alcohol. However, she always had a bottle of sherry for the trifle and a bottle of brandy for her amazing fruit cakes and plum puddings. Her plum puddings with the hidden sixpences and threepences were always a treat. A soft drink was expensive and only for Christmas. Mum would make ginger beer. It may not have been alcoholic, but it certainly had plenty of kick. There was more than the one explosion under the house. Mum would, on most evenings after dinner, head to the sewing room. She loved to be creative, making numerous fancy dress outfits for her children for upcoming school functions. However, often she was simply making clothes for her brood, whether this be their Sunday best, casual clothes or school uniforms, and then there was the dreaded mending and darning. She lived with the old saying, a stitch in time saves 9. Recently, when I was at a Dolly Parton concert at the Empire Theatre, the song The Coat of Many Colours was sung. It actually made me quite teary when to think that, yes, Mum, she sewed every piece with love. A knitting machine was for school jumpers. However, Mum preferred to hand knit, particularly on long road trips with Dad, as she could be creative to her livelihood. She was an amazing knitter, never dropped a stitch. Dad wouldn't have ever worn a jumper that wasn't made by Mum, and you'll see an example of one of Mum's knitting feats. It's a jumper which actually belongs to Lee, that was probably about 6 when Mum knitted that, and there's a dress of mine there that's probably nearly 52 years old. Both treasured things that we have. Mum had many talents, and where she shone outside her kitchen and garden was with her cattle. She loved her white-faced cattle and started her very own Pale and Pole Hereford stud in 1973. Mum also features in a book, Cattlemen and Pearls, celebrating women in agriculture, a book commissioned by Anne and Ian Galloway, dedicated to all the amazing, talented and courageous women who did so much for the Australian agriculture. With the passing of Mum on the 11th of January 2022, Dad and Mum's 76-year love affair ended. He lost his best friend.
Bringing to the end their motto. We helped one another with everything we could and help each other with it. It's two lives lived as one. Dad was always totally devoted to and loving and admired his beautiful bride. He appreciated and acknowledged all that she did and all that she stood for. Hence this Pearl's Precinct has been lovingly donated to the women of the Pittsworth district in her memory. Wayne has touched on the acknowledgements, but just so that I don't miss anybody, I'm sorry if I double up. So yeah, thank you very much to Russell for everything that you have done with this build. It's just been amazing. To Wayne and Harley and Tom, they just, yes, without this crew, we wouldn't be standing here today celebrating this and having Dad here to open this dream of his. To Matt and Jason from RNF Sheds, Jada Excavation, the Duncan Lee, Jada, sorry. Then we have Folksies, we have Jamie, Darby, Michaela and Madison from Jamie, and also people that have contributed, CNW Electronic Wholesalers of Toowoomba, Heyman Electrical Wholesalers Toowoomba, L&H Electrical Wholesalers Toowoomba, Energetic Lighting, Cameron and Belinda Saul, CR Concreting, Blake Pierce from Pierce Crane Hire, Ben Horn, and I apologise, I don't know his help with that, help with the cutout and the levelling and filling of the site. Raps, Penny McKinlay, Liam Tierney from Tierney Signs in Toowoomba, Roz Scottney, and the women for providing the afternoon tea and their support during this build. Yes, and I can't, as a family, we cannot help thank Wayne and Harley and Tom and Russell enough, and also our cousin Andrew Neal. He came and helped out. It was just, you just delivered such a professional job, and you've done it in very short notice. I realised it was Wayne said was not quite sure whether it was lack of goals or what that made it wet at home that he ended up, he made time, he and Harley in particular, to come in and do this project. And Wayne, I don't know, you certainly got the diplomacy in the family, because the way you handle very difficult situations from time to time with the council and odds and sods, yes, you're very much appreciated, and I think we could probably all learn from that. And Joe, yeah, now as of today, you can have your husband back for it. Great list of things to do. Okay, thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I'll try and be diplomatic, I suppose, but some of the different bureaucracy, you might call it, that we talk to, I left Amanda loose on them. It might not have ended as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think Amanda's presentation was just wonderful, as was Wayne's, and this tells you a story about a special family. I think a big round of applause for the story. Now, there's a lady called Gail who wishes to come forward and say a few words. Where is she? Come on over.
Okay, I'm not a very good speaker. I've written it all down. I'm nervous enough.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is so good to see so many here to help us celebrate the opening of this beautiful shed. For those of you who don't know me, I am the president of the Pittsworth Women's Shed. I would like to start with our journey from the very beginning. The Women's Shed was first started in June 22 at Cook's Cordial Factory, thanks to Graham and Margaret Cook. We were there for almost 2 years. Those were busy times donating items to aged care centres, child care centres, etc. This is when Trevor started calling in and announcing he would like to donate a shed to us. And this is where Trevor's journey began. In 2024, we moved to 67 Yandina Street thanks to Ross Spotnik for letting us move into the bottom floor of her home. We later moved to the old Commonwealth Bank across the road, where we are today. We are a charity organisation. We are so grateful to receive any donations of material, wool, etc. from all the local and regional people who have donated. We, as a group, are so grateful for this generous donation of this wonderful shed. Over the months I have gotten to know Trevor a little more, and we are so blessed to have this gentleman in our lives. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you very much, Gail. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very special day, and as we move towards the conclusion, can I say for me personally, it's been a tremendous honour. I have respected the Saal family for a long, long time, and when I read the history of one Sydney Saal, it even got a bit thicker. But working with Vivian Saal, the elder brother in the family, was a special moment for me, and I've never forgotten it. Viv and his wife Wynne are very special people. So what's happened here today is something special for Pittsworth. It's something that's been given by a great family. It's been given for the good of ladies, and I think it's a recognition of the importance of ladies in our life. And as I said before, I was very thankful that my father had a brilliant attitude towards ladies. And the complimentary word that he said, I think that's a beautiful word, because males and females, and I don't know, some people will disagree, I think we're a bit different, but complimentary, it is beautiful. So thank you very much. So Trevor, to you, thank you so much for what you've done for this community. It will stand here for many, many years in memory of your beautiful wife, Pearl. And I'll ask you now, Trevor, to move to the front, where you will...
I'm filming at the moment.
And your neighbours just go. Just go in a full self-curve.
Don't give him any...
He doesn't need any encouragement, you don't think?
No, absolutely
I can't even remember. It must have been when we were on Dorothy's birthday. I can't remember that.
Cut it. Do we need to officiate? What do you say? Amanda, turn it out. Is that too sharp
Pull it off, pull it off.
I can't watch it. You're in. Do you want to be back in? No. So you want to go? You want to back?
Yep, now back in here.
Thank you.
Hey, Dad. Over here. Yay! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Ladies and gentlemen, I never have done anything like this without making some sort of mistake. And could I recognise the former Mayor of Pittsworth, Ross Godney has been mentioned, but also the Mayor of the Toowoomba region, Gus McDonald. My humblest apologies. If you're really nice to me, I might shout you a coffee or something like that every day. And his lovely wife Lisa, they're both here, and also his mother's here somewhere too. So thank you very much, Jeffrey, for being here. It means a lot. And you will accept my apology. You've had to do it before. Right.
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
I think we get Dad to come and...
No, making the night. I was waiting for you to get on.